Some of the most remarkable people in this world don't appear on movie screens or in sports arenas. They work in offices, study in classrooms, and raise families at home. They're just ordinary people like you and I, ordinary people who have experienced something extraordinary and survived. Journey Women Off the Map is a television series I directed and shot over a 12-year period. Unlike most explorer stories, these modern travelers are women, ordinary women who agreed to be filmed taking journeys to extraordinary places.
I went to Turkey once before and I enjoyed it so much. The people were so friendly and it's a country with the most amazing history. So when there was a second chance to go, I went like a shot and it was even better this time.
For the Turkey program, I was joined by my female host, Hope.
At Istanbul, I met Reha, a wonderful guide, and he took me to the covered market.
This was the Grand Bazaar which was built when this was taken by the Ottoman Turks in 1453 by Sultan Mehmed the Conqueror, who conquered the city at that time. And soon after that, they started to build up this Grand Bazaar, which is the first covered bazaar of the world.
That's a gold mine of wonderful crafts and amazing things. And it was rather fun trying to haggle for a handbag.
22, like 22 million.
It's a beautiful bag, but I don't have that much money.
18 million, like that.
No, I don't like that one. How about that one? How much is that?
That is 16. You not look that smaller, but that is
16
different.
compared to this, which is 22.
But I have
It's
enough
only
money
half
for that
size,
one.
and you're asking
Maybe.
16 for this?
But excuse me, my
Why did you
friend.
give him a good price?
Come on.
Uygun.
Come on. Okay, 20, right? 20 million.
No.
Come on. You believe me. I'm not mafia.
No, just leave it.
Okay,
I'll
you
just
give me
leave it.
15.
I'll just leave it.
Okay, you give me 15. Okay, madam. Okay, right.
Okay.
Okay.
The next day, we traveled to Haran, which is very near the border with Syria, which is the southeastern corner of Turkey. Haran is a village that's known as one of the oldest continuously habitated places on earth. It's even mentioned in the Bible. In Haran, in the past, people lived in these beehive-shaped houses.
They have different houses in the other parts of the country. Yes. Those are all covered with mud on the outside. Yeah. It's got brick on the inside as well. Yeah. Keeps it cool in summer and then warm in winter.
It protects them
from
the heat and the cold.
Exactly. So that's one of the houses.
The modern houses are more or less normal shaped houses with flat roofs. And there, in Haran, there were swarms of children. And they ran very happily to greet us. You have beautiful hands. Look at them, red ones. And they all had red hands from henna. So what happened? I had to have my hands made red too.
A lot of locals were very impressed with the fact that Hope still traveled at her advanced age.
Everyone in the village was very friendly, and we met one nice young man who invited us into his house for tea. Well, this is very good tea.
Çok güzel diyor çay. Afiyet olsun. Afiyet olsun means enjoy it.
Were you born in this village?
Burada mı doğdun diyor. Burada mı? Yeah, he was born in here, yeah.
So how old do the old people live here?
40 kaç sene yaşar bir şey? Yaşayanlar var.
geçiyor.
There are some people who are over 100 years old, he says, yeah. Yeah.
I'd love to meet one who's 100.
Yeah.
Later on after tea, Rehar and I walked around the village some more. We met an old woman selling dolls on the street, but she wouldn't tell us how old she was.
She's got 2 daughters and 2 sons.
Very good.
Yeah, but she's not living with them anymore, so no. She's living alone, and she's a little bit complaining about that. She feels a little bit resented about that, yeah, as she lives alone, because in this region it's not that accustomed for the people of her age to live alone. She would be living with the families, with the.
I realize how lucky I am to live in Canada and to not have to work in my old age. I came upon a woman weaving, and she was kind enough to let me sit and watch her for a while. Turkish carpets, of course, are famous, world famous, and there's so many different kinds. Each area has its own type of design. You really have to study them first if you're thinking of buying one, but it's a wonderful trophy to take home. The next day, I went to visit the ancient ruins at Nemrut Dagi. When I went to Turkey the first time, it was summer, and we visited these enormous statues on a hill made by a megalomaniac king named Antiochus. And my guidebook this time says if it's snowing, and it was snowing this day, it's impossible. However, I went. This king had cut 2 ledges onto the rock and then built huge statues of himself and the gods, which he considered to be his relatives. Now, most of the statues have been toppled by earthquakes, and they were half buried in the snow. I wonder how the king's relatives feel about that.
Despite her advanced age, Hope seemed to be game for any challenge.
The next day, on our way to see Mount Ararat, the legendary site of Noah's Ark, Rehar took me up another mountain. At least it was less snowy this time.
What you see is the town called Doğu Beyazıt in Turkish, and just behind that we see the Mount Ararat too.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the legendary Mount Ararat.
Can you see Iran from here?
We're about 35 kilometers away from the border.
I asked Rehar to tell me about the Muslim faith. There seems to be a ritual about praying. They do special things as they
Yes,
pray.
there is.
How does that go?
Let me show you how it's done if you want.
Okay.
So you have to put your left hand like that on your belly by keeping your right on top of it. As you keep on praying like that, you put your hands on the upper legs and go down on your knees on the ground like that, while you're putting your hands on either side, and put your forehead like that on the ground. That's where you respect God the most.
And God and Allah will listen to you. Yes.
Hopefully.
Yes,
Hopefully.
if you've been good.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly. As a good Muslim would say, hopefully, which is inshallah, that's what it means.
Mount Ararat is where the Noah's Ark can be found. I had to go and see the famous spot where the Noah's Ark of the Bible was supposed to have landed after the flood. There's a rocky formation on the side of the hill which looks just like a large boat.
Although traditionally The resting place of Noah's Ark is on Mount Ararat in Turkey. There is no evidence to confirm that.
Across the valley from Doggy Bayazid are the ancient ruins of a mosque and a fortress. They were built over 2,000 years ago to guard the old Silk Route, a trading route that stretched from Asia to Europe.
So this part underneath the window is slightly different than the other parts. If you take a careful look on this part of the wall, which is a proof of several renovations on the wall later on by different civilizations who were here, like Greeks, Romans.
Turkey has been overrun by different people for so many times, and well, if you're a history buff, it's wonderful. Wow, this is deep.
Yes, it is.
Oh, look, up there.
This was a Urartian rock tomb, which was carved into the rock. Goes about maybe 3 meters, which is 9 feet deep, and it might be either one floor or 2 floors inside. These rock tombs are made by the Urartians, of course, who were here between the 13th and the 7th century before Christ. Yes, this was tradition for those people, as well as later on for the Greeks and Romans, to have that kind of high carved tombs into the rock. So sometimes they would put the personal belongings as well as food inside the tombs, as those people were believing in reincarnation, coming back to this earth. Yes. They would feed those people while they were staying inside the tombs. And
it's obviously been broken into now. With
exactly. In the other ones, not in these rock tombs, but yes, they would have also a dog on the outside in order to keep the place.
A real dog or
yes, a real dog,
a real dog,
a real dog,
to protect them.
Yes.
We came to a very interesting old bridge.
This bridge goes back to the beginning of the 1300s.
So this was all covered in snow up till recently?
Maybe until a month ago, yeah.
The water's running very fast.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's one of the biggest and largest rivers in Turkey, called Aras River. This part you're seeing in front of us will be covered with water later on, as there's going to be much more snow melting.
It's a beautiful area here.
Yeah, yeah.
Along came a nice old Kurdish man. We had fun with him. He said he was on his way to find some herbs that he needed for his medicine.
Yeah, he's about 67 years old. Koyun, he was a shepherd before, so yeah. This is how they're making a living, yeah.
Is that so?
Yeah. Namazını kılıyor, çok güzel. Telling us that his mother is about 110 years old, still alive, still alive. She's a still practicing Muslim, prays 5 times a day. Baba, sağ ol, sağ ol, sağ ol, sağ ol, sağ ol. Çok güzel.
Saçları yenileceğim o, kaşları bileceğim o, gel beni güleceğim o, çok da güzel de gülersen.
Süper ya, çok güzel şarkı.
Evet.
Ya. Hadi Allah'a ısmarladık. Kal sağlıcakla.
Hoş
kendine iyi bak. Oldu mu? Sağ ol. Sağ ol. Hadi eyvallah. Hadi görüşürüz. Eyvallah. Sağ ol. Sağ ol. Eyvallah.
Güle güle.
Ya.
Next we went to Cappadocia. 10 million years ago, 4 gigantic volcanoes spewed up masses of boiling lava. And this, over the centuries, formed into a kind of soil called tufa, which gradually wore away into the weirdest shapes, like a whole bunch of penises in one part. In other parts, people made holes in them and lived in them like houses. everyone must go to the underground cities in Cappadocia. These were only discovered recently, but they were first built 4,000 years ago. Okay.
That's one of the 10 underground cities in this region, which was made, as they think, first by the Hittites and the rest later on by the Greeks.
The farmers of the area would live and work on the surface, but when threatened by invaders, they found they could dig these tunnels and live secretly underground. And there's miles of these underground dwellings, and when invaders came, they just disappeared for as long as 6 months. Where have you gone? Oh, there you are.
You want to come over, take a look, see how deep it is?
What a depth!
Oh yeah, and you see
The echoes too,
and you see the footsteps over there as well for the people to come in and out.
They must have had something to hold on to.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a story behind that,
Yes.
which is when they were getting the Arabs sieging
Yes.
here, they were leaving some people outside in order to cover up the top part of the tunnel. The one who was staying outside would either fight to death, or he would come down through the steps and
Yes.
join the other people inside
Yes.
in the underground city.
Persecuted because they were Christian.
Yes.
I'm glad I didn't live then.
I'm too.
After exploring Cappadocia, it was nice to sit down for a while. Is this the ancient town that was completely erased by an earthquake?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Everything is modern now. Well, what's its name? I know I could never pronounce it.
It's called Erzinj.
Erzinj.
Yes, which is an old Turkish city since the Seljuk period, which goes back to the 900s after Christ. So since then, it's been a big Turkish city, and there has been 2 big earthquakes here. One of which was in 1939, which caused 33,000 people to die.
33,000?
Yeah, in that one. And later on, which is much more recent, they had the second major one, which again caused the devastation of the city, totally.
It's very sad that so many people in Turkey have died because of earthquakes, and so much architectural heritage has been lost too.
Turkey has had 29 earthquakes, level 6 or higher, in the last 100 years.
Most people in Turkey are Muslims, and they're very clean and wash 5 times a day before prayer. And they also go to the Turkish baths quite a bit. So of course I had to go to a Turkish bath and get a massage, which was lovely. Some of the Turkish baths were built over 3 centuries ago and have the most beautiful mosaic tiles. On my last night in Turkey, the hotel put on a dance show, which was really something to see.
Gel
It was a lovely party with lots of musicians and dancers in exquisite costumes. It was the perfect way to wind up my trip to Turkey. If children ask me why I want to travel, go away from home and travel, I tell them it's very exciting and you make friends that you have for years and you never know what's going to happen next. Whatever happens when you travel, it's an enriching experience and it's wonderful, even if you're 85. I've been twice to Turkey, but 9/10 of Turkey I haven't been near yet. So, for the future.